My circle tighter than it ever been. I ain't letting nobody in my business like that. For real. The only ones is me, myself, and God. You know who I be with. You know who I be with. Me, myself, and God. You know who I be with. You know who I be with. Me, myself, and God. You know who I be with. You know who I be with. Me, myself, and God. You know who I be with. You know who I be. Blessings to everyone who's listening today. This is the Me, Myself, and God Daily Devotional Podcast. And today we will be studying in Genesis chapter 22, verses 5 to 18. And this is a well-known story here that we're going to study today. I hear a lot of people talk about it. They talk serious about it. They make jokes about it, all kinds of things. This is when God tested Abraham by telling him that he was going to have him sacrifice his son, Isaac, the son that him and Sarah had in their old age, the son they wanted so bad, the son they loved so much. Now God's telling you, you have to sacrifice him. He's testing your loyalty to him. He's testing your trust in him in this situation. I don't know how many people would you just cut off your ears if God tests you in a way of something that you don't want to do? It may not be as major as sacrificing your child, but on a daily basis, is God moving you in a direction and you're denying it? Or no matter what, are you following his instructions? And here we see what happens when you follow his instructions. But we're going to start at verse 5. And it says, "Stay here with the donkey," Abraham told the servants. "The boy and I will travel a little farther. We will worship there, and then we will come right back." So Abraham placed the wood for the burnt offering on Isaac's shoulders, while he himself carried the fire and the knife. As the two of them walked on together, Isaac turned to Abraham and said, "Father." "Yes, my son," Abraham replied. "We have the fire and the wood," the boy said, "but where is the sheep for the burnt offering?" "God will provide a sheep for the burnt offering, my son," Abraham answered, and they both walked on together. When they arrived at the place where God had told them to go, Abraham built an altar and arranged the wood on it. Then he tied his son Isaac and laid him on the altar on top of the wood. And Abraham picked up the knife to kill his son as a sacrifice. At that moment, the angel of the Lord called to him from heaven, "Abraham, Abraham." "Yes," Abraham replied, "here I am." "Don't lay a hand on the boy," the angel said. "Do not hurt him in any way. For now I know that you truly fear God. You have not withheld from me even your son, your only son." Then Abraham looked up and saw a ram caught by his horns in the thicket. So he took the ram and sacrificed it as a burnt offering in the place of his son. Abraham named the place Yahweh Yireh, which means the Lord will provide. To this day, people still use that name as a proverb. On the mountain of the Lord, it will be provided. Then the angel of the Lord called again to Abraham from heaven. "This is what the Lord says. Because you have obeyed me and have not withheld even your son, your only son, I swear by my own name that I will certainly bless you. I will multiply your descendants beyond number, like the stars in the sky and the sand on the seashore. Your descendants will conquer the cities of their enemies. And through your descendants, all the nations of the earth will be blessed, all because you have obeyed me." Yeah, this is it's very intense when you think about it. You know, very, very intense when you think about it. But as you see there, when Isaac questioned his father, like, where's what we sacrificing? Abraham didn't say we sacrificing you. He said God will provide. The sheep will be provided. You have to speak the truth into existence. Know that when you follow God, he will provide you with the best outcomes. Speak what you believe and what you know is true. Then remember the place where you receive blessings. He named that place because he was blessed. He was very blessed in that moment because he didn't have to sacrifice his son. God showed him that he would provide for him. He showed him that he was building through him by letting him know that your descendants will conquer their enemies and will be in great number. He was building him into a nation. Okay, your obedience leads you to the wealth that you deserve. Okay, just by being obedient. God's intention was never to have Abraham kill his son. He just wanted to see if he would trust him that much, that if he would prioritize him and put him first in that situation by sacrificing the most important thing to himself, his only son. The son that was carrying on his name. And this is the same thing that God did for us with Jesus, sacrifice his only begotten son. So God was testing Abraham to see if Abraham would be like him, which is very important. Are you following God? Are you being like God? Are you doing what God would do in these situations? Because a lot of us turn away quickly for a lot smaller things, a lot less. Things are not even that intensified. And we turn away to follow our own path instead of the path that God is showing us. It might not be the easy path, but it's the path that leads to what's best for us. Like I said, so he was asking Abraham and testing him to see if he would go as far as God went with his only begotten son. And there's commentary in my Bible that speaks on that makes that comparison. It says, God has provided a sacrifice for us, not simply a ram caught in the thicket, but his only son. Anyone who believes in him will have the means for discovering a new life now, and that will be eternal as well. Okay? God didn't ask Abraham to do something that he wouldn't do. All right. And he did do that with Jesus, sacrifice his son for us. And when you are a part of that inheritance, grace and glory, it's eternal. Jesus was sacrificed so that we could have a new life, which is eternal and blessed, no longer dominated by sin and destruction. So let's make sure that we're heeding the voice of the Lord. No matter what he's asking for us, it will be blessings, it will be glory, it will be limitless, and it will be eternal. And when you go against that, you are following the path of sin and destruction. So let's make sure that our decisions are headed to the righteousness and not leading us into the wickedness. Follow God is how you be like God. Have a wonderful day.
Myself and God, you know who I be with, you know who I be with me. Myself and God, you know who I be with, you know who I be with me. Myself and God, you know who I be with, you know who I be with me. Myself and God, you know who I be with, you know who I be with. No, it ain't.
This is Radio For Real. Welcome to the Good Vibes.